Alrighty. Hi there. It is not quite 6 p.m. and time to show up. I'm showing up. I'm glad you showed up. I appreciate every single one of you. Do the little YouTube dance, like, comment, subscribe, all that happy horse shit. And let's shit in the box. It cannot be overstated how fantastic it is to have a beer after you have been out working in the hot summer sun. There's something about that. There's something. The human body's chemical in ways that a lot of people just don't think about. And what you do with your body, including what you do with your brain. Your brain's part of your body. If you're thinking about stuff, that changes the chemical content of your body. If you're out working with your hands, that's part of your body. If you're doing arts and crafts, that's having chemical effects on your body. And these chemical effects that you have on your body alter the way that food and drinks taste. And I don't think people entirely appreciate that. Because it's like, there are things that I think are delicious if I've been out working in the sun, and if I haven't, then I would just really rather not. It's like, the only thing I can think of is kind of the opposite. It's like, I really like pizza pretty much all the time, but after I've been out working and like moving stuff and picking stuff up, and I just had to bag up 10 bags of apples, which you might sit there and go, 10 bags of apples, that's not a big deal. No, I'm talking the big 40-gallon black trash bags. They're about 200 to 300 pounds of apples each, so that's like, yeah, that's over a ton of apples. That I had to pick up and put in bags, and that's not easy. It's a lot of fucking work, and it's fucking hot out there, and it's northern latitudes. The sun's different in northern latitudes than it is in the south. I remember being out doing yard work in Ohio and in Virginia, which are about the same latitude, funnily enough. People go, oh no, Virginia's the south, and Ohio's the Midwest. Yeah, but they're like right across from each other. And on top of being right across from each other, Ohio is on the Canadian border. I'm sorry, what? I'm bad at geography. Maybe other people aren't as surprised by that as I am, but it's literally the only thing between Ohio and Canada is Lake Erie. That's it. But working in 90-degree heat in Virginia and Ohio, not that big a deal. And in South Carolina, even less of a big deal. Florida, way less of a big deal. But up here in Washington, 80 degrees feels worse than 100 in the Carolinas. Well, more accurately, Louisiana. I don't think I've done working over 100 degree in the Carolinas. I've done work over 100 in Louisiana. But, man, 100-degree heat in Louisiana, that's one thing. 80-degree heat in Washington, worse. So I get it, man. If y'all are in the UK and you're going, it's so hot here, and everybody's going, it's not even that hot. No, dude, it's way fucking hot because you're like up on the upper part of the globe, man. I get it. I'm not that far up, and I get it. Anyway, as I was out there working, as I was out there doing my thing, I had this thought. You know how everybody kind of focuses around hate content on the internet? And it's just like people make these hate videos over and over and over again. And those get way more attention than positive videos. I think I've had an insight as to why. I won't go so far as to say I figured it out, but I think I've had an insight on this because I was realizing I've said for many, many years, nobody cares about your problems. Nobody wants to hear about your problems. Okay? The only interest anybody has in your problem is if they have the same problem. And then the extent of their interest is go, oh yeah, I have that problem. And then they don't fucking care anymore. They're like, yeah, I got that problem. Can you solve it? No, I don't have a solution for it. Oh, fine, fuck off then. But there's an interesting point here, which is that if you have the same problem as somebody else, that's a powerful tool for building rapport, for building community. And one of the more interesting aspects of that is, what if it's a problem that you can't solve? What if it's a problem nobody who has the problem can solve because it's somebody else doing it and you don't have any control over them? Like, what if it's the addiction mechanics in your mobile game? Or the predatory monetization in your AAA game? Or, hear me out, the studio shut down the servers for your game. If you have a problem that nobody with the problem can solve, you can bond over that problem forever. And you'll never be blamed for failing to solve the problem because nobody can solve the problem. Ross Scott, fucking lunatic that he is, started the Stop Killing Games movement. He started this in 2018. He was very concerned because it had just occurred to him, oh, Ubisoft could shut down the multiplayer servers and we wouldn't be able to play anymore. And for 6 goddamn years, he said they could shut down the servers and we wouldn't be able to play. And sure enough, come 2024, they shut down the servers and he couldn't play anymore. And he went, oh man, we got to have a petition and we got to go to the EU. And what did he go to the EU and say? We didn't know. Yeah, you did. You knew in 2018. You knew in 2018 that they could shut down the servers. What do you mean you didn't know? Well, they didn't tell us. Well, yeah, they thought maybe you weren't a fucking moron. But I'm not here to belabor Stop Killing Games. I'm here to point out that as long as this problem never gets solved, and it's never going to get solved because of the way the intellectual property law works, because of the way international copyright law operates, you will never, I repeat, never be able to tell a company that made something that they have to keep making it. They can turn it off whenever they want. They could shut it down whenever they want. They could say, you know what? Fuck you. We're not selling this anymore. You can't stop them. You can't make somebody else sell you their stuff. You can't make somebody else provide you with a service. This is why food and healthcare can't be a human right. Because it's not just you. Food has to be produced by someone. It doesn't just happen. It's somebody else's labor. It's somebody else's work. It's somebody else's effort. You can't have a human right to somebody else's labor. It's like healthcare. Healthcare has to be provided by a person. Well, you can't have a human right to somebody else's labor. Now, there are a lot of things we can't do. Maybe we make a robot that can provide healthcare. If we make a robot that can provide healthcare, then yeah, healthcare can be a human right. You have the right to have the robot perform surgery on you. I don't see that as a particularly positive future, but you know, if we can automate it, if we can take the human beings out of the picture, then yeah, you can have a right to it. But I don't really see that happening, you know? And because nobody's ever going to solve the problem that Stop Killing Games wants addressed, or the problem of predatory monetization, because every time you change the rules, all you do is like raise the bar. You say, okay, this monetization is predatory because you are forcing children to give you money to play the game or they lose their entire account. Well, that's bullshit. And they're just going to change things a little bit. They're like, okay, you can play the game, but you can't use any of your shit unless you give us money. Now, you have to let them use the stuff they've already paid for, even if they're not giving you any more money. Okay. Then we're not going to let you pay for stuff. We're going to make you buy a license. We're going to make you subscribe to a collection of stuff. And as long as you subscribe, then that collection of stuff is there. But we can alter the stuff. Oh, well, I'm canceling my subscription. Well, now you get a different collection of stuff. They will find a way to change what they're doing so that they can try and get more money out of you, because that's who they are. If they have predatory monetization in the first place, these are predators that are trying to get your money. You're never going to be able to solve this because the problem is they're horrible people that are just going to try to get your money any which way. You cannot seal off every different way that they can try to get your money. You know what you can do is you can stop playing the game. But nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to do that. Everybody keeps talking about, winners never quit and quitters never win. And they go, I'm not going to quit playing this game. I'm not a quitter. I'm going to keep playing the game with the addiction mechanics and the predatory monetization. I'm going to play until they shut down the servers. Then you're going to be stuck. You're going to be stuck with somebody trying to get you addicted to the game and trying to take your money constantly. And, there's nothing really wrong with that. I mean, GTA Online has addiction mechanics, of course. And they have monetization. I wouldn't call it predatory. In fact, I think they have among the least predatory monetization I've ever seen. And, I played GTA Online for a long time, and then just recently I said, you know what? I think I'm done. I think I'm done playing GTA Online. I don't see the point anymore. The Kurtz Heist came out, and I went, oh, I gotta go grind money so I can get an art studio for my mansion, and why? Why do I want to spend like 6 hours getting the $3.7 million it would cost to buy the art studio just so I can go spend more hours in the game grinding money to buy stuff? The thing I enjoy in GTA Online, the thing I really, really enjoy is I enjoy driving the cars. But my favorite car to drive, my absolute favorite car to drive, a car that I enjoy driving more than anything else, is the Feltzer. And I know a lot of people are going to go, You mean that little the piece of shit that was in the base game that had that from day one? Yeah, that's the car that I like. I like that one. But dude, you could get the rocket powered. Yeah. You could get there's this guy. You could get the Deluxo and it flies, and you could. Oh yeah, that's fun. But my greatest joy playing GTA Online is driving around the map, which is exactly the same map as a single-player game. And what I enjoy driving around the map is a reasonably fast luxury sport coupe. I like that. the Feltzer handles well. It drives fast enough. I especially like the way you can flip and spin it off of obstacles and scenery. And here's the thing, because it's from the base game, I don't have to play online for that. I can just go into the story mode and put one in my garage. It's fine. And I can drive around the same map and I can have the same fun. And I don't know, man. There just doesn't seem to be any point to online anymore. And I'm not enjoying it, so why would I play it? There's a fake accomplishment there that I don't really have a lot of fun with. But you find a lot of hate content around GTA Online too. I don't have any hate for GTA Online. It's a great game. I enjoy it. I love having my nightclub, going into it, and there's $50,000 in the safe. Yeah. I love delivering the nightclub stock from the warehouse. Yeah. I love having a hangar full of aircraft. It's fucking amazing. Let me just go out for a spin in my Apache helicopter. Yeah. It's fucking cool. I enjoy it, but it's just not that interesting to me anymore. I think I've flown all the helicopters and planes I need to fly, and I've driven all the race cars I need to drive, and I've had all the races I need to have, and I've tried to participate in arena war matches that nobody else likes or wants to do for long enough. I figure I've spent enough time on my Oppressor Mark II. I've done the Cayo Perico heist enough times. I've done the VIP mission at the agency enough times. I don't need to do these things anymore, and I don't find them rewarding anymore. They're not bad. They're good. I like them. I have fun with them. Just not enough to want to keep doing them, which is an odd thing to say for somebody who has 5,200 hours in Starfield. I just got to a point in Starfield. I'm on New Game Plus 46. Just sit with that idea for a while. I've done the main mission all the way to the end. I've done the Vanguard mission. I've done the SysDef mission. I've done the Freestar Collective mission. I have done the Ryujin missions. I've done all the side content in Eon, all the side content in Aquila City, all the side content in New Atlantis. I've done all the Trackers Alliance missions. I've done the Shattered Space DLC. I've done a bunch of side missions on Vurunkai. Not all of them, because a lot of them are stupid and suck. I don't really like the Shattered Space DLC. I don't think it was very good. I've done the entire Terran Armada DLC. I've done all of the stuff in that. I've done all of that stuff just in this one playthrough, and I'm now at the point where I've done all the stuff. And I'm still playing around. I'm still dicking around in there and, like, just running around, building outposts and doing things. And when I'm done running around and doing things, and I go, I'm tired of this. I am going to build the Armillary and jump into the Unity, and I'm going to start the whole thing over. For a 47th time. 48th if you count the original game. Well, why am I still doing that when with GTA? Oh, well, see, in GTA, I've already done everything like 50 times. I haven't gotten to 50 yet on Starfield. There's a bunch of stuff I haven't done that many times, and there's a lot of different, like, things to play with and ideas to mess around with. And I've been thinking lately. I built this big, wide, flat ship, and I was thinking, what if I built a tall one? What if instead of making it really long and wide and flat, what if I just made it really tall? It could still be wide, but like, what if I made a tall ship with like 6 levels of habs? That might be cool. And I don't know, maybe it will, maybe not. I don't know. it's just kind of a fucking ridiculous idea. And I've been thinking about that. And on the one hand, I don't need to start the game over for that. I can just go to the ship vendor and I can tear apart my ship and I can build a brand new one. Or I can just build a brand new one on the shell of something I've already got. Like, I don't know, the UC prison shuttle. Maybe I can do that. But then it won't have the con spike and the conduction grid because I only bought one of those. I only bought one of each of those when I finished the SysDef mission with the Crimson Fleet. In fact, the reason I only bought one of those is because I did the Crimson Fleet mission first, and I didn't have my Star Eagle. I did still have the UC prison shuttle, but I also didn't have I didn't have the Wanderwell that you get from the Kid Stuff perk, and there's other ships I didn't have because I hadn't done the Trackers Alliance content and gotten the Orchid and all of the other various shit. I don't know. Anyway, you can walk away from a game and you're not a quitter. You're just like, I'm done playing that game now. I'm done. I'm finished with this game. Sometimes you get mad at it, like that fucking librarian game, where you're just like, what do you mean I have one too many books outside of the game world for the little button to restore books to inside the game world will light up so I could do that? What do you mean I need to be below 20 books? There's 21 books outside the game area. I can't, man, fuck this shit. I was done with that game. I tried not to be done with that. I tried to be like, okay, yeah, let's start over. Let's just do it again. Yeah, that's no problem. I had already signed up. I was going to do it twice. And then there's an achievement for finishing in a certain amount of time, and I was like 8 minutes beyond that time. I was like, I am not starting this fucking game over to try and shave 8 minutes off my goddamn time. And then there's one for doing it without magic, and oh my god, that one took me like 30 hours. And people are like, it shouldn't take you 30 hours to do that. Go fuck yourself. I'm old. My eyes don't work that well. Read this tiny text on the spines. Where does this go? You can just stop doing things when you're tired of them. When you don't want to do them anymore, you can just stop. You don't have to keep doing them forever. When you realize that the game you're playing is full of addiction mechanics and you're not having fun anymore, but you feel like you have to play it, you can just stop. You can go play a different game. One of the things that I just kind of go at Ross Scott about is he has pointed out several times that the great majority of games do not require a central server, and it's impossible for anyone to shut them off. Play those games, you fucking dipshit. No, I want to play the game that... They can shut that off. That depends on a central server. They can shut it off. Well, they should make it so it doesn't. No, shut the fuck up. Play a game that doesn't need that. Play Minecraft. But I want to play a multiplayer racing game. Well, we're going to have a problem. Because if you're going to play a multiplayer racing game, if you're going to play a multiplayer game at all, you are going to need a centralized server, because if you don't have a central server, then people can cheat. If you have peer-to-peer networking, people can cheat. That's one of the problems people are always talking about with GTA Online, is people can cheat because things are not authenticated by a central server. And because they're not authenticated by a central server, any client can just go, yeah, I just got millions of dollars. Go figure. It fell out of the sky. And all the other clients will go, yep, a bunch of money just fell out of the sky into that guy's bank account. If you want security, if you want people not to cheat, you need a central server. And if you have a central server, that central server has to be operated by someone you trust. Typically, your client will say something like, you can only use this central server provided by this provider because none of the others can be trusted. If you start going, no, I should be able to choose my own server. Well, you're stupid and you make bad decisions. And you're going to run into a situation where 5 of your stupid little friends are all hooked up to an untrusted server. And you go, well, I'm going to join the untrusted server. And they're paying the untrusted server $10 a month so they can cheat. And you don't even know you can pay the untrusted server $10 a month so you can cheat. Because that's all managed through a private Discord server that you're not a member of. And now all of your stupid little friends are cheating and you're losing and you're like, hey! You don't want your stupid little friends cheating. You don't want to be going out there and getting into a multiplayer game with randos who are cheating because you don't know they can cheat. The security aspects are it's insane. A single trusted multiplayer server is the preferred scenario. And the single trusted multiplayer server is run by somebody who's eventually going to go, yeah, we're done. We're not going to do this anymore. Well, they should have to give, hold up. All of your personal data about when you play and how long you play and who you play with, that's stored on that server for matchmaking purposes. Should they give that out to just anybody? Well, not without my permission. Okay, then everybody who wants that information, they have to get your permission to get that information, right? How are you going to know to give them permission? Can they get some of your matchmaking data and not the rest? What about the time you played a match with these 5 guys? Do they need those 5 guys' permission to get the data that they played a match with you? It starts to get complicated. It starts to get problematic. And we're not even getting into licenses. We're not even getting into the question of middleware. We're not getting into the issue of what are the contracts and licenses that are already going on? And a server is designed to work in a particular environment. If we built a server that works on our local internal network, that server may not work on the open public internet. You may need a substantial amount of additional network support and functionality that isn't public. And now it's not just a matter of, well, I can buy cloud services from Amazon, and it's not that simple. It's never that simple. But if you have a problem that lots of other people have and you can't solve it, you can build a community around that. And that hate content, we have a problem and we can't solve it, and the people who cause it, ooh, those people. We need to do something about those people. who caused our problem. It's tremendously easy to gather public support for let's hurt the people who did this to us. Let's make the people who did this stop it. Very easy to get support for that. Very easy to build a movement around that. Very difficult to implement any kind of meaningful solution to the problem. But as long as you don't solve it, as long as you can plausibly claim you can't solve it, you don't have to solve the problem. You can just be a community of people who have the same problem. I know I've rambled a lot during this, and I've talked a lot more about Ross Scott and his stop killing games bullshit than I probably needed to or should have. People like Ross Scott. And the reason people like Ross Scott is because he has the same problem they have. Trouble is, he also has a whole bunch of other problems, like fucking mental problems. And nobody recognizes that. They just said, look at the guy's hair. That's not the hair of a sane, rational individual, okay? Not like mine is particularly great, but is this the beard of a sane man? Of course not. This is the beard of an old man who doesn't fucking care and won't bother to shave. I actually do shave like once a month. So, you know, the next video you see, I will probably have shaved. Probably. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe. I might. A bit. I'll shave a bit. Just a bit. The hate content is never going to stop because it's just problems you can't solve. And problems you can't solve, that's human nature. Everybody wants to collect and do something about their problems. And if you get people to collect into a group about a problem that they can't solve, you can keep that group forever. And you can use your influence and authority within that group to make the group do all kinds of dumb shit. Like push a law in California that literally says, if you ever shut down your multiplayer game, you have to give everybody who bought the game a refund. Unless you charge a subscription fee. Do you guys understand what's going to happen? There's another loophole, unless your game is free to play. You guys know what's going to happen, right? You guys, like, you understand, right? You understand that we're going to get, this California law is going to produce an absolute explosion in free-to-play live service games with the most predatory monetization you've ever seen. And AAA games with multiplayer components that require a paid subscription. I'll tell you what I'd do. If I was making a game today, if I was making a AAA game, I would sell my multiplayer live service game with a free 2-year subscription to multiplayer. But it wouldn't be built into the code. It would be a little card that came in the box. It would be a card that came in the box with an activation code for your subscription. And that card would have a 2-year duration. You activate it, it has a 2-year subscription. And it would have an expiration date 2 years from the game's launch date. So when you bought the game, it would come with a little card, no disc, just a card. And that card would say, here's your activation code to go and get the game on Steam. Yay! You go get the game on Steam. And then underneath of that, it would say, and here's your multiplayer, here's your multiplayer gift subscription code. It expires in 2 years. So in 2 years, you put that code in, it doesn't work. But anytime within the next 2 years, you can put it in and you get a 2-year subscription. And now I've just guaranteed that I will provide multiplayer support for this game for 4 years. But when your subscription expires, it's going to cost you $10 a month. So as long as enough people are paying me $10 a month, I have to keep operating the multiplayer service. But when they stop paying me $10 a month, I get to shut it down. And I can just stop charging them. You can't make me sell you a subscription. I can stop selling them whenever I want and just make everybody's subscription expire. So I still get to shut down whenever I want. I just have to wait a little bit longer, like a month. I just have to stop letting people buy subscriptions. And that's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to get from the. That's what you're going to get from the industry. You're already going to get people who are charging you monthly fees for multiplayer now, if this California law goes through. I don't know if it will. It may not. If it does, you're going to see an explosion in free-to-play games with a season pass. The season pass is a sneaky subscription, by the way. And now that I think about it, I could charge you $60 for a AAA game that had a shitty, lackluster, first-person, single-player campaign. And I could give you a free DLC for multiplayer. And when you downloaded that free DLC for multiplayer, I could go, the multiplayer is free to play. It's not subject to the refund rules. There's so many ways. There's so many ways publishers can just continue to fuck you. And they have a bad guy to point at. They have the government. They can point at the government and they could say, well, it's because of this law that the government passed. Well, guess who you can point at for passing the laws with the government? Ross fucking Scott and his bullshit Stop Killing Games movement. Y'all play games that suck. Y'all play stupid games that suck, that are full of addiction mechanics, that are full of predatory monetization. And then you sit there and go, well, they shut it off. Oh, I'm playing the worst game in the world, made by the worst people in the world, and they didn't give me the perfect experience. You don't fucking say. They don't like you. They're not doing this for you. They're doing this for money. And when there's no more money in it, they're going to stop doing it. That's how it works. Anyway, I've rambled enough. Again, do the little YouTube dance, like, comment, subscribe, all that happy horse shit. And, okay, bye.